Hey guys, Scott here, and today we're going to go over the developer update in August, where they are kind of going back on a lot of the things that they changed for the whole meta shakeup. A lot of this is, I'll just be honest, is not very good from what I've seen. It's a step backwards in my opinion. The meta shakeup patch did make a lot of people upset, as I'm sure it will happen with every meta shakeup. There's going to be lots of discussion and people that are not having a good time, and I do think there were one or two problematic things for sure. There's a couple of things that are, very annoying to go against, and I completely understand a lot of survivor complaints. But I think a lot of it was just people overreacting, and there's no real time to adjust for any of it. And I think this is pretty much the definition of a knee-jerk reaction, because they completely deleted things that they really didn't need to, and I think people needed to just have more time with it. But that's just my opinion. Let's go over what they did, because a lot of it is just not good, in my opinion. So thanatophobia was one of the main problems. With the 10-second longer gen times, a flat percentage reduction perk is just going to feel really bad. And I understand that. So it's going to be something that, people are going to be complaining about. And so they wanted to address it. So what they did, they made it so instead of each survivor giving you X amount of slowdown, each survivor will give you much less slowdown on generators per injured survivor, but if all 4 survivors are injured, then you get a 12% penalty to all actions, which will include healing speed as well. So kind of a buff and a nerf, but really it's just a full nerf is what this actually is. So pretty much the only way you're going to get a value from this perk now is if everybody is injured, because otherwise it's just going to be like 6% slowdown on gens, which is basically nothing and just simply not worth using. But if you get that 4th injured person, now you've got basically ult thanatophobia plus a little bit more, because you have basically a 10% healing reduction, which is not much. It's going to be, it gives like a second and a half additional time healing. It's really not that much, but it basically puts it back to the old value. The problem is getting survivors to all be injured is actually pretty hard. In fact, the only killers that can reliably do it are Legion and Plague, which makes it so thanatophobia is really only good on Legion and Plague. It's just simply not that great of a perk on most other killers unless you can rapidly get hits. You can make an argument maybe for like Wraith or something like that. But for the most part, it was just Legion and Plague that people were complaining about because they're the ones that are going to get you injured. So all this does is nerf the perk for every other killer in the game and just make it the same for Legion and Plague. So this doesn't fix anything. It just makes it worse for everybody else. You're still going to see Legion and Plagues with thanatophobia because they still get that benefit. I don't understand this change at all. It doesn't make any sense. All it does is just make it so the only killers you will see with this perk now are the ones that are already making you feel very bored and annoyed when you're going against it. So you're still going to have the exact same thing. I don't understand this. I think thanatophobia, the perk itself, was terrible. That's not terrible because they buffed it. I would say it was not good on almost all killers except Nurse and Legion, who can actually get full value from it. On most killers, not that strong in my opinion, but now it's just useless on every other killer. It's only good on Legion and Plague now, which is just stupid. So I understand, red bar bad, 10-second longer gens, red bar bad. I get it, but people have to realize that was mostly the 10 seconds on the generator doing that problem. It wasn't really thanatophobia. It was the 10 seconds on the gen that was doing that was making it feel so bad. So, I wish they went about changing this in a different way, because this just deletes the perk for every killer that's not Legion and Plague. So it doesn't change the fact you're still going to see that. And yeah, I don't know. Okay. They managed to nerf Mettle of Man somehow, which is impressive. So basically, in a nutshell, it now only takes 2 protection hits to activate, which is great. That makes it actually very strong, or except it would remain strong. But now the endurance effect is affected by conspicuous actions as other endurance effects are, which means as soon as you get that protection hit, you can no longer do anything. You just have to the only way you get value from the perk now is if you take the protection hit and then get hit again. Because if you just give up and go back to a generator or something like that, it goes away, meaning the 2 protection hits you got are now useless. So you basically have to get your protection hits in the same time frame, which makes you even more useless to your team because you're wasting time getting the protection hits, and now you have to just stick around and make sure you actually use the value of the protection hit. And the thing is, though, the killer is going to know you have Mettle of Man because the aura reading happens instantly now once you have the endurance effect, once you're, a certain distance away. So it basically is going to telegraph when you're coming for a body block or something like that, and the killer is going to be able to prepare for it. They're going to know you have Mettle of Man. I don't know what they were thinking with this. Yes, it is nice that it'll get, activated more, but you're useless. Mettle of Man already made you useless to your team while you were getting the stacks. Now you have to be even more useless because you literally can't touch anything or do anything helpful to the team. You just have to run around trying to get that hit. And yeah, I don't understand why they did this. Mettle of Man was already a pretty niche perk. I don't think anyone ever complained about Mettle of Man short of the very first version of it we got, which was stupid. But ever since then, it's mostly a meme perk. Like it's not strong at all. So yeah, there were clips of people stacking endurance and getting multiple hits with that, but that's not happening, especially since they fixed endurance stacking and stuff like that. It just simply wasn't happening at all. So I don't know why this happened. It feels like I'm in a time machine and it was still the PTB where this actually could have been a problem, but it's just not. So they just made Mettle of Man absolutely terrible. I don't understand why they did that. It makes no sense. Pain Resonance. So I think the whole thing is they wanted to remove the Pain Resonance Dead Man Switch thing. And so now they're making it so it does explode the gem, but it still doesn't have a notification. Basically what happens is they saw that one clip of the Merciless Storm. I'm sure we've all seen it. The Merciless Storm lasting like 25 seconds, which frankly is pretty funny. But it's somewhat of a niche scenario because, of all the things that happened right there. The Merciless Storm procs, then the gen regresses, and he has to keep going because he's staying on the generator, right? So I think they just saw that and had a knee-jerk reaction, and then they made these changes, which are not great because Dead Man Switch and Pain Resonance is annoying, but it's pretty easily countered by when you see someone get picked up, wait a second, and then just get off the gen for a second, and then go back on the generator. Like, it wasn't that complicated, because if you stayed on the gen, then it would pop you off with Pain Resonance, and then Dead Man Switch would proc, and then you're kind of stuck. But if you just got off the gen for a couple seconds when someone gets picked up before they get hooked, you basically avoided this. So I don't think this really needed an issue. But yeah, so now you're not going to be able to have a Merciless Storm combo with Pain Resonance anymore. I don't know. A lot of these changes just don't make any sense. They didn't rebuff Decisive Strike to 5 seconds. I really wish they would, because Decisive Strike is kind of useless now, in my opinion. Only 3 seconds of stun is terrible, considering you spend one of those 3 seconds in the animation getting off their shoulder, which is included in the stun. So basically you have 2 seconds to get away, which is just not really that much distance at all. I kind of wish they rebuffed DS, but kept the endgame disable thing. That was a good change, but nerfing the stun was pointless. It's just enabling tunneling to be easier at the moment, so not a good change. Other than that, they know about Clown. They're still trying to fix him. So they fixed Clown. That's good, I guess. I think they're still just unaware or not caring of Oni. I don't know, because they haven't kill switched him yet, despite the fact he's literally getting triple his power. At a match yesterday where the Oni had his power the entire match. Like, it was just ridiculous. So I'm surprised they haven't kill switched Oni yet, but other than that, nothing else really worth mentioning. Other than matchmaking incentives are not going to be here for this update. It's going to have to be the next one. So people that want to play killer, tough shit. You're going to have to deal with really long queue times, because the only thing that made killer queue times really nice is when the survivor role incentives were there. That's the one day I got to play killer this patch, is when the role incentives were there, because the killer queue times were actually pretty fast. Other than that, yeah, it looks like we're not going to be seeing that for a while. So overall, super disappointing developer update. Pretty much not a single good change in here. I'm trying to be optimistic about the game and stuff like that, but I'm not going to just simply not criticize when they do things wrong, and this was just not good. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.